Lobster, you got it back yet? Lobster's a 10, I think don't you grab it?
This video is brought to you by T-Blocks. Enjoy the content now, but stay for the shilling later. Welcome to Lobster Manga and Friends. I'm here by myself to talk about One Piece, chapters 897 and 898. Yeah, solo review. Kind of sad. Because I don't have my buddies to guilt into it, but it's been too long. I've been waiting for this far too long, and, you know, I want to cover these things. Although, technically, not a lot happened. These are sort of like, it's like version 2 of The Getaway. I feel like we already saw this earlier in the Whole Cake Island arc where, you know, Luffy was running away from the Big Mom wedding celebration with the Straw Hats, and now we have Luffy running away Redux with Pecamos tries to get him out in 897. Then he nearly gets his eyes gouged out horribly, which was hilarious that he was like, ooh, I can't wait to see what Pecamos' Sulong form looks like. Maybe it'll be a super badass, transformation. Then the Big Mom pirates just like throw him down, and then they proceed to, gouge out his eyes out, which was, kind of sad and hilarious. Mostly kind of messed up, since poor guy doesn't even get to do his power up, and Luffy's just trying to get out, but just all of the Big Mom pirates are there to like completely devastate him. And then Sanji's carrying him out. He's gonna like try and get him out, but oh, there comes the Germa 66 to try and provide a hero moment for them. I'm not super happy. I still think the Germa 66 need a comeuppance, considering how awful they were initially, and that we still haven't seen them get like punished for beating up the serving maiden girl that I was kind of hoping for. Niji need to get some kind of comeuppance, but that still hasn't happened. I guess you could say this is a quasi-redemption, the fact that they're, like, kind of, like, saving the day. And, real talk, I was kind of hoping I could discuss this with Zavul and Goro, but, and maybe you in the comments below, how strong do you actually think the Germa 66 are? I cannot get a beat on them, because, like, generally the rule of thumb about One Piece is that, people who use, like, weapons aren't that really great unless they're swordsmen, because think about it, Don Krieg had all these like fancy gadgets and weapons, and he thought he was the strongest, and then Luffy like punches through him. That shit doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter how many weapons you come through. True grit is what it has. And then Wiper had this like burn bazooka, which shot like laser beams, and then he wasn't much of anything. And it seems like people who sort of like use dials, like technology, are always kind of like the lower rung of the One Piece ladder, below like sheer super strength, grit, tenacity, and of course devil fruits. Those seem to be like the big makeups of strength and power in the One Piece universe. So like, what are the Germa stick like? Because I can't tell. I still feel like Sanji could kick all of their asses, given the fact that like we've seen him like beat Yanji without a raid suit. So assumingly like they're not that great, and but then on the other hand of the argument is that we did see the Germa 66 like stand up to Big Mom with their raid suits, which they didn't win, but they at least were able to take several blows from her, and not basically get away unscathed, even if she did win in the end. So it can deflect a Yanko's power, but like I still can't really get a bead on like how powerful these raid suits are supposed to be, since to me, it seems like the best you can get from, like, technology is that, like, it's just good for mook disposal. So, you get an awesome montage of them, like, just basically killing mooks, or, disabling mooks, and, I'm just kind of like, it's okay. I kind of like wish we could see them go up against like one of the Sweet Commanders, or honestly, I just want them to get out. This arc has been going on forever. We're getting on to the point where it's like, God, like this. We're gonna get to chapter 900. This arc started in chapter 825. It had definitely some great stronger points, but I think like all the stuff we've gotten, except for maybe the Luffy versus Katagari fight, could easily be exercised, and we could live without it. We could easily have lived without it, them just getting away and then move on to the next thing. But I don't know why, like, is Oda under some pressure? Like, is like, the Whole Cake Island arc so successful that, he's getting pressure from the Shonen Jump editorial board to, like, make it longer? Because, like, sure, One Piece is, like, feels like it's getting towards its end, but there's still, like, so much shit we have to cover before we even start the pre-end game. as I've discussed before, I think the way it's going to roll out is that we're going to get the Reverie arc, which will probably be like 10 to 15 chapters after this. Then we're going to go into the Wano Country arc. That's going to be... God. I mean, if Doflamingo took like 100 chapters, I could easily see like at minimum Wano Country lasting 80 to 90 chapters. I wouldn't be surprised, considering that's going to be like the big turning arc in terms of like, throughout this whole like thing, we've seen the worst generation basically, coming and being bitches of the Yanko and like trying to fight against them, but they've all been smacked down. Eustace Kid, his little alliance with him, Drake, and another guy, I forget. They were all basically destroyed by Kaido single-handedly. Don Capone Beige, united with Big Mom under her authority so he could like wait for his chance. Rouge got his ass handed to him by one of the Sweet Commanders, the weakest of the Sweet Commanders, Commander Snack. We don't know what Jewelry Bonnie's up to, but there's this sort of recurring element where it's like, the worst generation has not been able to overcome, the remnants of power from the previous generation, despite the fact that they're all these chaos rabble rousing the next pirate kings. So I think the Wano Country is going to be like that tipping point where we see the worst generation team up, like 4 or 5 of them team up, and it's just like, we're going to get this like 25-page 25 chapter storyline where it's just them versus Kaido. And, it's going to take everything they've got, and eventually they're going to finally tip him over. And then after that, Kaido's down, the floodgates are open in terms of like who gets to Raftel. Somehow, they'll all get like the red polystone glyphs, so they'll all know the location, and then we'll move into like the the pre-game arc, as I like to call it, which is the hunt for Raftel, where basically it's like all the New World pirates are like fighting each other, all the worst generation pirates, all the supernovas are basically competing against each other in hopes of getting to Raftel, and I can't wait for that. And then if Oda's smart, he'll like put Blackbeard in there somewhere, so we can sort of like have him be the villain there. And then, we get to One Piece, and then we get into the end game itself. Once One Piece is revealed, the nature of the Void Century is revealed, the nature of the One Piece universe is revealed, and then that sets up the stakes for the final war, where Luffy gathers up his Straw Hat Armada and fights against the opposing forces of the world government for whatever it is they're protecting, or who knows, maybe they fight space aliens. In some ways, I always feel like the trajectory of One Piece is very similar to Skies of Arcadia, if any of you played that old Dreamcast RPG that was ported to the PS2 and GameCube. And Skies of Arcadia is, like, to me, like the perfect One Piece RPG experience in terms of, like, oh, they're these good guy pirates and they fight against bad guy pirates. And in the end, you learn that, like, the fifth element, which is silver, is, like, comes from this spacefaring civilization. You have to stop a doom weapon from blowing up the planet. And my gut tells me I see something like that happening where, the Void Century, the world government is afraid that the Void, the mysterious country of the Void Century was developing technology based on these space aliens from the One Piece universe, and we do know there's space aliens on the moon, which is this hidden element that ties in the Devil Fruit, and then Luffy has to make the choice of history in terms of, like, continuing to hide things or, moving past beyond to see if they can live, and then that'll create some sort of ideological clash between him and the world government. And then we'll get our epic One Piece final war that'll basically just, include the fate of the universe, and it'll basically be like the Whitebeard War on steroids, and it'll be incredible, and it'll last like 50 chapters, and it'll be the best thing in the world. And who knows? That's what I see as like the 5-year course of One Piece as we get towards its end, even though, there's obviously still a lot of room before we get to that end. A lot of still stuff to happen. And so that's when I kind of get frustrated when, it's like, come on, Luffy, just get out so we can have the celebration. And who knows, maybe the Germa 66 will get their comeuppance when, maybe what'll happen is they'll get their comeuppance and when they have the big celebratory meal at the end that they always do. And honestly, though, I still want Sanji to get a raid suit. That's what I really want to see. I want to see Sanji get a power-up and get a raid suit, because Sanji is like, the monster trio so far. Oh, man, just imagine if he gets a raid suit that increases his power. So yeah, I could give these chapters, like, they weren't bad. They're solid 8s. But, there is definitely an arc fatigue in the sense that, like, I want to see Big Mom eat the cake. I want to see this end. I want to see this resolve. That you can resolve this. Come on, let's see an end to this. All right, let's move this beyond. So, One Piece keeps sailing on. So those are my thoughts. Hopefully this week, maybe I'll be able to get Zavu and Goro to, like, talk about next week's chapter. Because we're still not on break, although I'm sure next week's chapter we're going to get the One Piece break. Because, like, it's like 3 to 4 weeks that Oda gets his break. And then he gets, like, a week off. And then, the poor guy enjoys his vacation because he's been going at it. Although, fun fact for all you One Piece fans, did you know that One Piece was within a hair's breadth of outselling Batman? And not just, like, one Batman run, but, like, Batman the character that has existed for 75 goddamn years, written by, hundreds of creators, is going to be outsold by One Piece, which has only existed for, like, 20 years, made by one guy. Holy F-balls. If there's like a reason why you want to get on this manga hype train and you want to turn this into a movie or TV series, there you go. 20 years, One Piece is, like, outdone what, Batman has not been able to do in 75. It's like, at this point, I think it's like 400 some plus million copies sold. So yeah, good on you, Luffy and Straw Hat Pirates. Kick the ass of the Dark Knight. And so let's validate us manga fanboys. So thank you for hanging out here. My thoughts. Remember, lobsters and tennis, but don't you grab it. Do you like clothes but hate shopping? Then T-Blocks is the subscription service for you. But I know what you're thinking. But Lobster, how is that any different than Loot Crate or the other subscription services? Well, T-Block sends you t-shirts, which is clothing, which is actually useful, unlike the useless swag junk that Loot Crate keeps peddling on gullible schmucks. And this isn't just knockoff brand crap. T-Blocks hooks you up with licensed shirts for all the stuff you love, because you need clothes. How else are you going to keep your puny human man flesh protected from the elements? T-shirts are useful for any occasion. Wear them, give them to friends, give them to enemies, knit them together, make a quilt. T-shirts are life. And you know the best part? It'll only cost you $6.99. That's right, you can get 12 shirts sent to you for once a month for only $6.99. And you know what? If ultra cheap licensed goods are too basic for you, then there's also the Community T-Block set, which features original designs from the best up-and-coming artists, so you can keep that hipster street cred. But I'm here to save you even more money! Use the code LOBSTERTBX at checkout, and you'll save 10% on any order. Be a t-shirt wearing god amongst mortals. Use the power of the most expensive seafood to get you the cheapest t-shirts now!
Lobsters made of lights.